Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be looking at something, well, it's universal, but we're looking at it through a specific cultural lens, gratitude. And we're going to be doing that through an award-winning children's book. It's called We Are Grateful, Otsaliheliga by Traci Sorell.
Oh, a wonderful book.
Yeah, and you might be thinking, a children's book for this topic. But trust me on this one. This book offers such a great view into contemporary Native American life, the Cherokee Nation specifically. And you won't find this kind of perspective in most places.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It goes way beyond just like a simple story. You can just feel how gratitude is like woven into their daily life.
Yeah, the book centers on this word, Otsaliheliga, which means we are grateful in Cherokee. So, obviously, way more than just a phrase. What makes it so important to their culture and their way of life?
Yeah, it's a value, almost like a guiding principle, you could say. And the book does such a nice job of showing that by following the cycle of the Cherokee year, starting in the fall. And you immediately see how it's not just like spoken, it's lived.
I was going to say, the book starts with the Cherokee New Year, which starts in the fall. Right, so a different rhythm than our typical January start. What struck you about that, about how the book uses that as the beginning?
It highlights the deep connection to the natural world. The Cherokee New Year starts with the Great New Moon ceremony, which is a time to align their calendar with the cycles of the earth. So that act itself is already showing respect and gratitude.
Makes you realize how we just don't even pay attention to that, those natural rhythms in our modern lives.
Absolutely. Then as the book moves into winter, it shifts to show gratitude for family, for storytelling, and also the resilience of the Cherokee people, in the face of hardship. For example, there's a beautiful retelling of the Cherokee folktale about the first strawberries.
I love how stories play such an important role in their culture. Why do you think that is?
Storytelling is just so powerful. It's how they transmit wisdom, history through generations, keep those memories and values alive. It's how they connect to their ancestors and share their experiences.
Yeah, it's powerful.
And then, as spring arrives, the book shows gratitude through the anticipation of new life and the planting of strawberries, which is a direct link back to those ancestral stories.
I thought the illustrations by Frané Lessac really brought these scenes to life. I especially love the details like the shell shakers in the Great New Moon ceremony and the family gathered around the bonfire sharing stories.
Yeah, her use of gouache illustrations with those bright colors and that folk art style really captures the spirit of the Cherokee community. You can almost feel the energy and warmth coming right off the pages.
Yeah, and then we transition into summer with the green corn ceremony, marking the first harvest. It seems like these ceremonies are so vital, not just for celebration, but for maintaining their cultural identity. What else did you pick up on about them?
They're more than just events. They're living expressions of gratitude for the land's bounty and a way to connect with their history and their spiritual beliefs. They're a testament to the resilience of their culture. And, speaking of resilience, you mentioned earlier that the book doesn't shy away from tougher realities. There's that poignant scene where a family member is leaving for military service.
Yeah, it's a real reminder of the complex relationship between Native Americans and the U.S. government. It's amazing how, even with those challenges woven into their history, gratitude remains this constant theme.
It speaks to the depth and power of Otsaliheliga. It's not about ignoring hardship or pretending that everything's perfect. It's about finding those reasons to be grateful, even in the midst of difficulty. And it's not just a feeling, it's an active practice, a way of life. This is also reflected in how the book so thoughtfully incorporates Cherokee words and their pronunciations throughout.
Like the word Elisi for grandma, it definitely adds a layer of authenticity and richness to the story. Makes you want to learn more about the language and the culture.
It really does. And you're not alone. When you look at the reviews on Goodreads, so many people are saying that they connected with the message of gratitude and this portrayal of a vibrant culture.
Yeah, there's definitely something about their approach to gratitude that really resonates, even with people who may not be familiar with Cherokee culture.
It speaks to a universal human need. Gratitude isn't unique to the Cherokee, but they offer a powerful example of how to make it a part of life, not just a fleeting feeling.
And this book does a great job of showing us that. It also makes you wonder, how do they approach those truly difficult parts of their history, like the Trail of Tears? We'll need to look more into that.
You're right. The Trail of Tears is like a profound example of hardship and injustice in their history. I was struck by how the book acknowledged this painful event, but didn't let it overshadow this overarching theme of gratitude.
Yeah, how does it approach such a sensitive and tragic event while staying true to that theme.
Of gratitude. It focuses on the resilience and strength of the Cherokee people. So instead of just dwelling on the suffering, the book highlights their determination to rebuild and preserve their culture, even with this unimaginable loss. It's a reminder that gratitude isn't about ignoring the bad. It's about finding those glimmers of hope and strength, even in the darkest times.
It's about acknowledging the good and the bad and finding those reasons to be grateful, even when faced with adversity. I feel like this perspective is so relevant today, where we're constantly bombarded with negative news.
For sure. It's so easy to get caught up in all of that and lose sight of the positive. But this Cherokee understanding of gratitude really encourages us to shift our focus. Instead of dwelling on what we lack, we can choose to appreciate what we have.
Even the small things, a shared meal with family, the beauty of nature, a quiet moment to ourselves. Those little things can be so powerful when you see them through that lens of gratitude.
Exactly. And when we practice gratitude regularly, it can have a huge impact on our outlook on life. Studies even show that gratitude can improve mental and physical well-being, reduce stress, and even strengthen our relationships. It's not just some feel-good emotion. It actually has tangible benefits.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's like a muscle we can train, a skill we can develop. Where do we even start? How can we apply this Cherokee approach to gratitude in our own lives, especially when things are tough?
One thing you can try is paying attention to the language you use. So instead of saying, I have to do something, try, I get to do something. It's a subtle shift, but it can make a big difference in how you think about things.
I love that. It's like reframing your perspective.
Yeah.
And recognizing those opportunities, even when you have obligations. Reminds me of what you mentioned before, about those rituals of gratitude in our routine.
Yes, like keeping a gratitude journal. You can do it the old-fashioned way with pen and paper. Or there are a ton of apps out there. Even taking a few minutes each day to think about what you're grateful for can really make a difference.
So it's about
Yeah.
finding ways to make gratitude part of our everyday lives, just like the Cherokee people do. And speaking of their culture, the book emphasizes storytelling and how that connects to gratitude.
It's a way to connect with the past, present, and future. It's how we share our wisdom, our values, our experiences. And when we share stories of gratitude, we're not only expressing our own appreciation, but we're also inspiring others to do the same.
It's like a ripple effect, touching everyone around us. And by sharing these stories, we keep the tradition alive
Yeah.
and pass it on. It's not just about Cherokee culture. It's about something so much bigger.
You got it.
Yeah.
It taps into this human desire to connect, to find meaning and purpose, and to appreciate the beauty of life, even when things are complex. And we are grateful Otsaliheliga shows us a really powerful perspective on how to do that.
Was there a particular moment or passage from the book that resonated with you that shows how the Cherokee people express gratitude?
There's this one scene where the family is gathered for a meal, and they all take a moment to express gratitude for the food, the people who prepared it, and the earth that provided it. It's such a simple act, but it shows how interconnected everything is and the appreciation they have.
It reminds us to just slow down, savor the moment, appreciate everything we have, no matter how big or small. It ties back to that idea of gratitude as a practice, something we work on.
And that practice, that effort we make to cultivate gratitude can really be transformative. It can shift how we see things, bring us joy, and help us handle life's challenges with more resilience and grace.
I think we've covered a lot today, exploring this Cherokee concept of Otsaliheliga and how it can impact our own lives. But I'm curious, what are some ways we can put this into practice in our everyday lives?
Well, it can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be like a huge change. Start small. Remember those gratitude journals? That's a great way to start. Take a few minutes each day. It doesn't matter if it's a fancy notebook or a note on your phone. Just jot down a few things you're grateful for. You'd be surprised how powerful it can be.
I've tried that, and it is surprising. You start to notice things
Yeah.
that you probably would have just missed otherwise. A sunny morning, a really good meal, a stranger being nice to you. They all kind of jump out at you when you're looking for them.
That's it. And it helps you see all the good things, even when things are tough, because life isn't always easy, right?
Right.
So how does this Cherokee way of thinking about gratitude apply when we're going through tough times?
That's a good question. Does gratitude mean ignoring those hard things? Like just pretending everything is fine?
No, not at all. Real gratitude isn't about denying your feelings or trying to make everything seem perfect. It's about finding those good things. Even when things are dark, it's about bouncing back and seeing that life has both good and bad parts, but choosing to focus on what you appreciate.
So more like finding strength and perspective, even when you're struggling.
Yeah, exactly. Think about the Trail of Tears. That was a time of just immense suffering. But even then, the Cherokee people found ways to rebuild and to hold on to their culture, their spirit of Otsaliheliga. It shows how resilient they are and their ability to find things to be grateful for, even when they lost so much.
That's really powerful. It shows us that it's not about pretending the bad stuff isn't there. It's about finding a way to keep going, to have hope, even when things are really hard.
And that's a choice we can make every day. I know it's not always easy, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's about training your mind to see the positive, to appreciate those good things, even when there are challenges.
It all comes back to that idea of gratitude as something you do, a choice you make, not just a feeling that comes and goes. And we can bring that into our lives in so many ways, telling our loved ones how much we appreciate them, taking a minute to just look around at nature, even just enjoying a good cup of coffee. Those are all chances to be grateful.
That's right. And as you do those things, remember how important storytelling is. Sharing those stories of appreciation, those moments that make you happy, it not only helps you connect with others, it inspires them to find those same feelings, like you're sending out good vibes and strength.
That's a great point. I think this deep dive into Cherokee gratitude has been amazing. It reminds us that Otsaliheliga is more than just a word. It's a way of life, something we practice, a choice we make.
Exactly. And I encourage everyone listening to check out We Are Grateful, Otsaliheliga for themselves. It's such a beautiful book with amazing illustrations, and the message is so strong, it will connect with anyone, no matter their age. It reminds us that gratitude, in any form, can make our lives better and help us get through hard times with grace and resilience.
Thank you so much for taking us on this journey. And to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to find your own way of practicing gratitude. Until next time, may your days be filled with Otsaliheliga.